So we're in Fresno, California doing an inspection of the master bath, and we took it upon ourselves to go ahead and walk through the whole home and see what we got going on. Inside, we've noted the water heater area. You can see the points of connection there are corroded. So it's hard to get that cleaned up. Probably take a wire brush, and clean it up and then get some new connectors on there. I would say the corrosion is coming from, you got iron pipe is the home. It's galvanized iron pipe. And then galvanized iron pipe nipples, and then you are connecting copper to it, and that causes a reaction which accelerates corrosion. So the easiest fix is to replace those, clean it up a little bit. It's kind of tight in there, but you can see this one. I'm sorry, I don't have any light, but that one it's pretty bad. I can't see back any further back there, but those gate valves begin to drip, and you have trouble back there. Looks like it's actually got two shut-off valves, hot and cold, so that's fine. But this was manufactured in 2000. I contacted A.O. Smith. You can see the serial number is right there. So 18 years old, and they last 8 to 12. If this one lasts a little longer, great. If it doesn't, if it doesn't, it's going to flood this compartment. So anyways, let it run or not, repair it up here or not, totally up to you. I hate to see things after when people call me and then things are in bad shape. It's been flooded and we got a mess in here. So just keep that in mind. I'm not trying to sell you a water heater, but we do install them. Actually, the cheapest in town right now. In Elson Laundry Room, we've got some water capped off, hot and cold. This is going to be for a wall mount faucet. For a laundry tray, waste is down low in the event you ever need to do that. $220 for the dryer, no gas. These, if you ever decide to hook up your washer to it, I would minimum replace these two bibs. They're in various stages of disrepair. They're old, looks like they're as old as the home. And if the home is as old as that water heater, 20 years old, then it's simple. Shut the water down, get yourself some new bibs on here, do yourself a favor. The standpipe is undersized, it's 1.5 inches. Code is, at least now, well, actually for the last 30 years I've been in business, it's supposed to be a 2-inch line. And the reason why the volume of some of the newer washers, it comes out so fast that an 1.5 inch line and the standpipe won't contain the water. You might not have a problem with it, but that should be, the only way to find out is shove a hose in there and run a load of clothes and see if it holds the water or not. Should have a clean out as well. There might be one on the outside wall. I'm not sure if there is, but that's also a code just on sinks and washers. So that's it. In this room, I know you didn't ask us to look at this, but kind of feel like I want to walk through everything and take a look. Sorry I don't have a flashlight with me. I've already been through everything once. Down here, you've got, the older shut-off valves, multi-turn. As long as you don't have to work on any plumbing, those will function correctly. Leave them alone. It's when you start to turn them on and off to replace faucets, things like that, where you're running into trouble. They don't want to shut back down. Packing nut begins to drip, things like that. So when you get to a place where you're going to do anything in the kitchen, that would be the time to upgrade the shut-off valves. Go ahead and get the copper tubing out of there. You got a 1/4 inch line that's sneaking over to, I would imagine it goes under the house and over to the refrigerator. I'm just guessing at that because it's on the cold side. And then you can see the hot is a braided line that goes over to the dishwasher sitting down on the bottom of the cabinet, so that's fine. And then those old nylon lines, the white lines for the water, don't like those either. So, but that is for a day when you decide you're going to do any upgrading. You don't want to go through the house right now and start ripping things apart. You certainly can if things become problematic or start leaking. Go ahead and start upgrading at that point. In the hall bath, which you didn't ask us to look at either, toilet is functioning correctly. However, it's filling with a little bit of debris. Actually, it's cleared out somewhat. The tank itself, and it's hard to see down in there. It's just it should be cleaned. Just so that water doesn't translate over to all your components in here. But this is the only thing that's working really good in the bathroom. The toilet actually flushes and fills. Over here, not a lot of volume coming out. Same thing with both faucets. When you take these aerators off, you get the full flow. Gasket in there. Let me get it out of there real quick. And there it is. So you can see you've got plenty of water, hot and cold. So it's a problem with this aerator. You could certainly take this and dunk it in some distilled white vinegar to get it nice and cleaned out. and or go ahead and just purchase a brand new aerator from Glacier Bay. They're the manufacturer of this faucet, and you can get with them, take a picture of this. They'll know exactly which model it is, and I'm assuming this has been remodeled in here because this is not a 20-year-old faucet. But that's why you're having low flow in here. Underneath, same thing, and I'm a big stickler on this. You got the multi-turn shut-off valves, older than the hills, nylon supplies. I'm sorry there's no light, but it's those white nylon hoses. I like the braided stainless steel and the quarter-turn valves, which means quarter turn on, quarter turn off. They don't leak. You don't have any problem with them. Tub area over here. This looks like it's been remodeled. Reason being is you've got Price Pfister in here. Master bath has Moen. So this Price Pfister valve, it's flowing great out of the tub spout. You know, I don't know about hot and cold water, but it's working. I mean, not the best, but not the worst either. You know, plenty of flow for a bath. The diverter is not functioning correctly. You can see, you pull it up, no shower. Oh, finally it came out. Okay, so it takes a little bit, and then back down. Okay, so it's working. That's not bad. It's on its way out. I was working with it earlier, and it wasn't popping into place. It seems to be working now. That's fine. And then the spout moves a little bit. Yeah, see how it takes a little bit, and finally it kicks in. So that's fine. Lots of scale on the handle. And maybe that's from the faucet dripping on it, I don't know. But if that gets too scaled over and that screw gets scaled in place, you can't get it apart to work on it. So as long as this continues to function correctly, you're great. If the flow slows down or you have trouble with hot or cold, it'll need a cartridge replacement, which is inside the wall there. So no big deal on this one. So the tub's working pretty good. Faucet, it would work good if the aerator was cleaned out all the time. And that's hard to do with the hard water and the sand in the well, whatnot. Master bath is the worst. The toilet will not fill. It's going to need a fill valve. You know, we manually filled it with a bucket of water. We filled it back up. It flushes correctly, but the filler doesn't come back on, which means the filler is filled with sand. And that is simply to say, let me see if I can do this. That is simply to say that this part right there, the blue one, that it needs to be replaced. So they're like $10, $8 over at Home Depot. So no big deal on that. And it does flush when it has water in the tank, but once you flush it, it won't go back up. You can see nothing. Nope. Sorry. No water coming back into the tank. It might fill up slowly, like over a period of hours, I don't know, but that's not functioning. We did have to take apart these several components that go to your shower. Because we couldn't get any flow out of this. This shower head is, looks 20 years old. But you can see plenty of flow out of there. It's dripping all over, but we just needed to check this to make sure it works. This is a Moen Posi-Temp valve, so it's it looks like it's original to the home. And then the one in the other bath is a Price Pfister, so different manufacturers. If you ever have trouble with this one, then a cartridge replacement, same thing. You just pull this all apart, pull the cartridge up, put a new one in, and then get a shower head that works correctly. This combination of I'm not sure how any of this all works. It's plastic parts. They're frozen in place. No water was coming through. A quick connect system for the hose. And maybe you know how it works, and I don't. There was a part sitting there all by itself. Anyways, I want to leave that in place. I don't want to put that back on. But just, if you want a sprayer, get one at Home Depot or Lowe's that's newer, with a newer shower head right there, and you should be fine. So toilet's not working. Sink, same thing. Little itty bit of water coming out, and it's specific to the aerator. So again, distilled white vinegar, soak it till it's clean, or get a hold of Glacier Bay and just get a whole new assembly. Just screw that thing on there and you're good to go. And again, quarter turn shut-off valves at some point in the future, if you're doing any remodeling, it enables you to shut this thing down and know that the water shuts off. You ever have a problem where something bursts and you need to shut things down, but these aren't working correctly, you're stuck. And that's not a scare tactic, it's what happens. I've seen it over and over again, but as long as everything's working and you don't have to touch this stuff, leave it alone. The older your plumbing gets, the more risk you run of things just bursting for whatever reason. So this bathroom was the main bathroom you were concerned about, so we took a look at this. If you want to do something here as far as the sink goes, you would need to go back to a top mount, probably cast iron sink or a china sink, porcelain sink, and it would need to be minimum 17 inches wide, and you'd need to go with a rectangle instead of an oval, which is typical. Reason being is they drilled one extra hole in the countertop right there, and so an oval, usually 17 by 15 or 20 by 17 is normal. You've only got 20-inch cavity here. The 20 would certainly fit because it's an oval shape, but it might not cover this hole. You might cut the hole, and it's just too large for this. So you would need to go back to a rectangle, one that comes across in here and back, and I'm thinking like a 17 by 15, something right in there, top mount, glues down, and then you got your faucet on the sink itself, and that would eliminate this this basin, which I'm understanding you don't like, and then the faucet. I mean, great if you like this style, but anyways, that's my suggestion there. Don't have a price for you yet because we just looked at it and haven't had time to go over anything yet, but just wanted to document this by video. I know it's getting pretty lengthy here, 11 minutes already, and who has time to watch an 11-minute video? Let's just make sure we got this back door locked back up again. And we did go outside to take a look around and see where the water heater was, and then of course we found it on the inside. Furnace looks new, which is in the hallway right there. To me it looks new. It looks like a brand new piece of equipment, and I'm not real sure about that. So garage doors locked back up, back doors locked back up. We came in through the front, and then let's go back out here. Before I lock up, I want to show you the well. And so here's one thing that you can do. We did put a gauge on that hose bib right there, and you've got 60 pounds of pressure. So there is not a problem with pressure in the home, but I do believe you have a problem with sediment. One of the things you can do right here, go ahead and make sure this gets changed every 6 months at least. If you have, the more sediment they have, the more you need to change this. I guarantee you this hasn't been changed in a while. So that's a Big Blue housing. It's a 10-inch housing. So if you go and you type in Big Blue sediment filter, you're going to find tons and tons of results on Google. And basically it's a spin-off. So you shut the water down to the tank, and then you go ahead and you unscrew this. They make plastic wrenches for it. I have a metal wrench. Just because those plastic wrenches, if these things are sealed on there too tight, you can't get them off and the wrench breaks. But a little metal wrench, it screws that off. You put your new sediment filter in there and you're good to go. A better suggestion for out here, and most well guys will tell you this, I'm not sure who your well guy is, we use A and S. That's two letters, the letter A, the letter S, A and S. I'm not sure who put this in. Because normally they put their name, they tag it. So whoever your well guy is, get a hold of them and ask them about a spin down filter. It's Rusco makes a sediment filter that allows you to come here. You don't have to take things apart and shut things down. It's just a kind of a cylinder, real long, with a flush valve on the bottom. You just quarter turn on, quarter turn off. When you turn it on, it flushes out all the sediment that it's caught, and you shut it off. It's a sediment trapper. And so those are great out here. Most of my customers out here on well water, any well water, they've got a spin down filter. So this is something, but you got to unspin it, take the filter out, put a new one in, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, leave it in place and just get filters. The other one is maintenance free because you just open it up and blow it out, and then you're good to go. So not thrilled about iron pipe over there on propane line going into the ground. Iron pipe corrodes and then you get leaks, and propane is the big boom. But that's the main thing out here at the well, is just maintain that. I bet you if you change that right now, you'd have quite a bit of difference inside the home. You do have 60 pounds of static pressure, but if you've got a lot of debris in the line, you're not going to get much flow out of it. So anyways, I think I covered most everything. We'll see if we can put together a price for you for changing out, putting regular sinks and faucets, at least in the one bathroom. I wanted to document all this, that way I didn't forget anything. That's the main reason for it. Also for you, so you know what to expect and what to look for here. And I'm not sure what what the entire scope of work is that you want to do in here, but I know that it's all the plumbing related issues. You can certainly address those, or leave some of it until you get to a place to where you have the budget for it or whatnot. Anyways, outside of that, this service call is done.